If you walked past my house today, you wouldn't notice anything unusual. The lawn is still trimmed. The porch light still turns on at sunset. Wind chimes still sing when the evening breeze passes through. It looks like a home where life goes on. But if you stood there long enough, really listened, you might notice something missing. No laughter, no footsteps, no voices calling out from room to room. Just silence, the kind of silence that doesn't come from peace, but from loss. My name is Margaret Ellis. I'm 64 years old, and this house used to hold my entire world. People always say tragedy announces itself. They're wrong. Sometimes it walks in quietly, sits down at your dinner table, and smiles while you laugh, waiting. The last normal day of my life was a Sunday. We had dinner together. Just like always. My husband Daniel insisted on carving the roast even though his hands weren't as steady as they used to be. "Still got it," he said with a grin. "You're cutting it like a puzzle," Rachel teased, grabbing a plate. My daughter always had something to say. Luke sat across from her, pretending not to listen, but smiling anyway. He had that soft way about him, quiet but full of heart. And then there was Emily, my granddaughter, 8 years old, full of questions, full of laughter. "Grandma," she said, "if clouds are made of water, why don't they fall down?" I laughed. Maybe they're waiting for the right moment. She thought about that seriously, then nodded like it made perfect sense. That was Emily. Everything was magic to her. Everything was simple. It started with a cough. Daniel waved it off. "Just the weather," he said. But I noticed. Wives always do. A slight fever. A little more fatigue than usual. The world outside had already begun to change. News channels talked about a virus spreading fast, cities shutting down, hospitals filling up. But it still felt far away, like something happening in another country, another life. Not here. Not to us. Rachel was the one who said it first. "Dad, you should get tested." He didn't want to. None of us did, because saying it out loud made it real. But when his breathing changed, when nights became restless, when he couldn't walk from the couch to the kitchen without stopping, we knew. The test came back positive, COVID-19. I remember staring at the word like it didn't belong in our lives, like it was a mistake. The ambulance came in the morning, bright lights, masks, gloves, strangers taking my husband away from me. "I'll be fine," Daniel said, trying to sound strong. He reached for my hand, but they stopped him. No contact. No contact. After 40 years of marriage, I wasn't allowed to hold his hand. So I stood there, watching, smiling through tears, pretending this was temporary, pretending he would walk back through that door. After that, everything fell apart quickly. Rachel got sick next. Then Luke. Then little Emily. The house changed. Doors stayed closed. Voices stayed quiet. Fear filled every corner. We tried to isolate, but it was already too late. The virus had found its way into our lives, and it wasn't leaving without taking something. Or someone. The hospital became a voice on the other end of the line. "His oxygen levels are low. She's being moved to ICU. We're monitoring him closely." Each call felt like standing on the edge of a cliff, waiting, hoping, praying, and slowly losing. They let me see Daniel once. Not in person, through a screen. A nurse held up a tablet. He looked different, smaller somehow, fragile. Machines surrounded him, beeping in steady rhythms that didn't feel comforting at all. "Hi, Maggie," he whispered. His voice was weak, but it was still him. I wanted to say everything. All the things you think you'll have time to say someday. "Thank you. I'm sorry. I love you more than words. Please don't leave me." But all that came out was, "I'm here," he nodded. And then the screen went dark. That was the last time I saw my husband. Rachel fought harder than anyone I knew. Even as a child, she never gave up. But this wasn't something you could fight with willpower. The virus didn't care how strong she was. Luke tried to comfort me, even from his hospital bed. "Mom, don't worry about me," he said. "I'll be okay." But I heard the fear in his voice, and Emily, my sweet Emily, she didn't understand what was happening. "Grandma, why can't I come home?" she asked during our last video call. I smiled. "Because you're on a little adventure, baby," she laughed. "I don't like this adventure." Neither did I. There's a certain tone doctors use when there's nothing left to say. You hear it before the words come. "I'm so sorry." Those words came too many times. First Daniel, then Rachel, then Luke. And finally, Emily. Each loss felt like the world ending all over again. 4 funerals, 4 goodbyes I never got to say properly, 4 empty spaces in a house that used to feel alive. People brought food, flowers, condolences. I can't imagine what you're going through. I used to hate hearing that because I didn't want anyone to imagine it. No one should. After everyone left, it was just me and the house. Daniel's chair still faced the television, Rachel's favorite mug still sat in the kitchen, Luke's jacket still hung by the door, Emily's drawings covered the fridge. Grandma plus me forever. I stared at those words for a long time. Forever. I used to believe in that word. Now it felt like a cruel joke. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Time moved forward, whether I wanted it to or not. At first, I just existed. Wake up, sit, stare, sleep, repeat. But grief, it changes. It softens around the edges. Not because the pain goes away, but because your heart learns how to carry it. One morning, I found Emily's drawing again. I held it in my hands, and instead of breaking down, I smiled. Because I realized something. They were gone, but the love wasn't. It was still here, in every corner of this house, in every memory, in every piece of me. People say move on, but that's not the right phrase. You don't move on from losing your family. You move forward with them. I started volunteering, talking to others who had lost someone, listening, sharing, crying together, healing, slowly. I still live here, in the same house, with the same memories, but it doesn't feel empty anymore. Sometimes, when the light hits just right, I can almost hear them. Daniel laughing at his own joke, Rachel teasing him, Luke calling out from another room, Emily giggling. And I close my eyes, not to escape the pain, but to hold on to the love. Because I didn't just lose my family, I was lucky enough to have them, to love them, to be loved by them. And that kind of love doesn't disappear. It stays, in quiet moments, in soft memories, in the spaces between heartbeats. And maybe that's what forever really means.